Hello everyone, welcome to this yin class designed to leave you relaxed. We'll start on our back for a couple of minutes in Shavasana. As many props as possible would be good. I have 2 bricks, 2 blocks. If you have a bolster, you can use a bolster. I'm possibly going to use a spare mat and a belt maybe. So lying onto your back. And let's start with extending our legs and spending a couple of minutes here. Breathing and arriving. Into this yin class, which involves holding postures for a little longer than you would otherwise, with the aim of releasing the fascia or fascia, which is a little deeper down than the muscles and weaves actually through the muscles as well. Remember, this is your practice, however, so if it doesn't feel comfortable, then you can release the postures at any time. You might find that after a certain amount of time spent in a particular posture, there is a release, so maybe you can slow down enough to notice this. Slow down in your body, yet your mind may remain active. Because if you're not pushing yourself physically, maybe, as you would otherwise in other types of yoga class, then your mind will want to sort of elbow in and go, hey, I'm here, I'm thinking about this, this and this. So accept those thoughts that are going through and let them go. Let them run their course without getting involved in a conversation with them, if that's possible. Or if you are engaging, notice simply that you are. When you're ready to, let's take the left knee in towards the chest and just hug it in for a good few breaths. Bothering your back, you can take the right foot flat to the floor, but otherwise here, breath after breath, tissues release, then let go. You may close your eyes through the entire practice or after you've settled into any of the postures, so that you are withdrawing one of your senses and accommodating, listening to the other senses a bit more. Take another couple of breaths here. Now coming to a half a happy baby. So this will involve taking the left hand onto the inside of the foot and going out to the outside. As we stay here for a little while, if this isn't so comfortable, you can hold the back of the thigh instead. You can use a brick and bolster, if you like, the side of your thigh so that you can allow the leg to rest against it. Any amount. Do what feels comfortable for you. Try to keep the foot up towards the ceiling. And you may well have your belt around your foot. Some postures are more or less comfortable, just like with a more of a yang yoga practice. Just notice this is the case. And see whether you can breathe and carry on. But if you find perhaps halfway through that there is still resistance, or certainly after a few breaths, but when you have resistance, it's a little bit fear in your body, fear, resistance to the posture means that relaxing might take a little longer or is not feasible on this side. Then let it go. Accept. Are you relaxed in your forehead? Can you be here for another 6 long breaths? And then coming back through towards the centre with the leg, releasing the hand or the belt, and we're going to extend the leg here. Finding ourselves back into our Shavasana. Before we move on to the other side. So again, you are taking, this time, the right knee in towards the chest, and you extend the left leg, possibly left foot to the floor. And we'll spend about a minute here. Or a little longer. Notice the feedback that this side is giving you. Allow everything to go through you. And then here, let's take the outside of the foot. You may well have that blob or the brick. To support movement, not. Drag the left foot back in. A hole behind the thigh. When we come to do yin, the first part is to notice to come to our first edge, if you like. And then to allow the gift of the breath and time to happen. We may find there is a little shifting around, or not, that the resistance eases. And as opposed to more different practices and more yang, whether it's a hatha or flow or vinyasa, there's no activation of the muscles. You're getting into the postures and then that is it. We're not asking to hold this a little longer or tighten this or notice external this, internal that. Think of it as a deep tissue practice. Take another couple of breaths here. Very gently bring the leg back in. Release the leg forward. Have your feet flat and your feet to that mat width apart. Allow the knees to knock in. We'll stay here, hands on the belly. And then separating the knees, walking those feet to be under the knees, extend the legs. Let's come to Bananasana. So we take the legs over to the right, meaning that the right leg will come off the mat and the left leg will be somewhat close to it or not. We take the arms over the head And then shift the head over towards the right shoulder. Maybe the arms a little bit over to the side, maybe not. See how much stretching to the left side of the body is happening. And you can stay here, or you can, if the left leg wants to come back towards the center, you're more than welcome to hook the right ankle over the left ankle. If you want a little bit more, it is the left ankle that will hook over the right ankle here. Perhaps there's no hooking whatsoever. Maybe your elbows are fairly bent or even the arms separated. The torso remains more or less where it was, and the bend happens in the legs and the arms, and the head turning to one side. Are you holding tension? Can you voluntarily let it go as your mind starts to rest in this posture? You can even separate your teeth and your lips to relax the jaw even further. Take another 3 breaths here. And then bring the arms and the head back through to the center. Arms come back to the side of the body. Bring the legs back to the center. Recenter yourself. 3 breaths. And we'll move to the other side. Bring the arms back over the head. Move the legs over towards the left. Shift the head over towards the left shoulder. And then take the arms now towards the left. Whether you keep those hands together or separate the arms is entirely up to you. You can hook one ankle over the other, either to keep the leg coming back to the center or to take a deeper stretch. You're here for a little while. Can you embrace where you are? you close your eyes and soften tongue into the back of the throat as you separate your lips and your teeth. As if you were about to fall asleep in a rather side-bended posture, except you are not sleepy. You are gently listening to what is happening to you. You are the witness. The witness of your own experience. Take another 3 breaths here. Gently bring the head back through to the center. Slide the arms back and then to the side of the body. Release the legs back through to the center and take a few breaths. Feet flat, press the feet, lift the back of the body and lengthen. Knees in towards the chest. Hug the knees. Take 3 or 4 more breaths here. Then releasing the feet to the floor, we're going to take Sukhasana, the easy posture. So it's essentially crossing the legs. It doesn't matter which one is further away from you, just note that it's this one, as we'll do the other one later on. And you may even want to support your here with some bricks. Rolling the shoulders back. And allowing the thighs to very gently open. Breath after breath. Delve into the feedback that your body, your mind, and your breath are giving you. Perhaps your mind is still somewhat preoccupied somewhere else. Acknowledge it is. And bring your awareness back to yourself. The sensation. Your intention. To listen to yourself. Take another 3 breaths here. Release the brakes. Bring those knees up. The feet flat. Move a little bit, sway from side to side maybe. Come back to the center, and this time bring the other leg forward. So easy posturing on the other side. Maybe those bricks come back, maybe they go somewhere else, maybe they are done with altogether. If your mind is wandering, you're finding it a little difficult to bring it back to the present moment in your body. Try to listen and count your breath. Count on the inhale. The count on the exhale. Which count is longer, if any? Have you a similar intake on the inhale and on the exhale? See whether you can, if it's not already there, try to make the exhale a tad longer than the inhale. Let's take another 3 breaths here. Remove the bricks, separate the feet, walk them back towards the center, and about 4 or 5 times on either side. Take some windshield wipes, so you're taking the knees to one side as your feet are separated. And then here, knees in towards the chest. Roll over onto one side, come onto your fronts, and actually here, you can either stay onto your hands and knees, or because we've stayed lying down, working on our hips for a little while, let's take a down dog for about 5 breaths. Possibly the only bit of yang we will be doing in this practice. And then release your knees down to the floor. Coming into a pigeon here, so if coming forward into the pigeon with your knee underneath you is not that comfortable for you, then you're more than welcome to come down to the floor, back onto your back, and take this posture. Otherwise here, we'll take this on our fronts. So the right knee comes behind the right wrist, tuck the left and bring it behind you. You can bring that leg a little bit more towards the outside of the mat, or even towards the parallel short end of your mat. And then you can come forward and down. You're more than welcome to support your thigh with a brick, or on the other side. You can stay here. You could have another brick underneath your forehead. Again, we are here for a little while, so try to let go in this one. And I say this possibly more for myself than for you. Um,
So as you bring yourself forward and down, if you find that you're doing this slightly through gritted teeth, make sure to separate your teeth and your lips.
And so here you'll surrender into the posture. And surrender is not about being passive, although you are passive in the posture, but it's not about passive acceptance. Mentally, it's about being willing to go through the challenges that the posture brings you, the physical tension and the mental tension, in order to go past it. Here, the focus being on the hips. If the shoulders are feeling a little uncomfortable, if you cannot feel it, you can release yourself forward and down. Simply bring yourself up, as I am now.
Take about 3 more breaths here.
And then bring yourself back up onto the forearms, then the hands. Remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 props. Bring them back, move forward. And before we move on to the other side, we can also take a down dog. Or you can shift your hips from side to side on your hands and knees, or here. Then you can bring your left knee straight behind there. Straighten the right leg behind you. And then use whichever amount of support is needed wherever. Could be this time on the back hip. I've rather enjoyed mine being on the front hip to remind, on the front thigh to remind me to keep my hips level.
And then surrender to gravity, to sensations.
Make sure, of course, there is no discomfort ever in your knee. You have the option to be on your back with that figure of 4 elevated, that pigeon in the air, if you like. Another 3 breaths. And then you bring yourself back up onto the forearms, hands, you remove your props, tuck the back foot, bring the knee in, front leg goes back, and then tuck the toes, lift yourself up into another down dog or onto your hands and knees, wiggling about. Then come back down to your hands and knees to work into puppy posture. From being onto your hands and knees, we're going to bring the elbows down to the floor. Bring the knees a little further back. Or maybe even have some bricks at hands. Quite good to have them at an angle, so that they are a little bit like this, so that your elbows won't be an issue toppling them over. Knees finding this a little bit difficult, you can double up onto your mat. We won't be staying in this posture for as long as the others. It's one of the shortest ones we do, if you like. So from here, elbows in, palms together, and we're going to release the elbows back. So we can dangle and stretch into the front of the body. Not so comfortable here, you can just have the hands forward, so the fingers would be pointing towards the top of the mat rather than your lower back. 5 more breaths here. Release the fingers pointing towards the front. And then bring the knees a little bit in and slowly bring yourself back up. Let's have a little sit onto our heels here. Not comfortable on your heels, extend your legs forward. Just a few breaths to recenter. And then slide onto your bottoms. We're going to come to a wide-legged forward bend. I would recommend to be sat either on a blanket or here I'm going to take a rolled up mat. Could be a block or a brick, but I'm probably going to need to use my props as I fold forward. So anything you can grab, you do grab. And here. I'm finding that then as I sit, my pelvis is tilted, so I'm a little bit more comfortable to come forward. Normally, Upavista Konasana would be saying to extend, to keep the legs straight. Here, this is Yin, so we flop about. Maybe you find it comfortable to just come forward here. Maybe you would find it more comfortable to have some supports. Whichever way feels good to you, you're folding in. Your arms can be anywhere, your head can be anywhere. Notice how you feel, make sure that you are comfortable in your setup. Remember here again to soften the jaw so you can separate the teeth and the lips. So you can even perhaps now come a little lower down. Or not. Take another 3 breaths here. And then very slowly bring yourself back up. Be gentle, be kind. Moving down to our relaxation. You're more than welcome to have your legs up the wall if you wanted to do so. I'm going to elevate my legs a little bit simply thanks to my props. Bringing the legs close. I'm going to bring those at the bottom there, so just my ankles are lifted. That's how I feel like wanting to do it today. You might want to have those under your thighs or under nowhere at all. Entirely up to you. You might want to support the back of the knees a little bit with a roll up. Bring yourself to a safe and comfortable posture. So that you can perhaps bring your mind back to all the surrendering you did. So remember the passive postures certainly aren't, do not feel passive in your mind. Notice the changes that they brought on in the last hour or so. It is not unusual to feel this quite deeply in your body the next day or the day after. So worry not if you feel a little out of sorts. You have, after all, given your body a deep tissue self-massage. You're on time. Bring your awareness back into the outside world again. Capture the sounds, maybe of the birds singing outside, of activities going on as you gently bring some physical movement into your body. Any movement that feels good to you. Eventually rolling over onto one side. Opening your eyes when you are ready. And then bringing yourself back up to a comfortable, seated posture. Giving yourself another couple of breaths to observe how you are feeling right now. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale loudly through the mouth. Let's take 1 breath. Release the thumbs to the forehead for kind thoughts, to yourself and others, to your lips for kind words towards yourself and others, and to your heart for kind actions towards yourself and others. I salute you. Namaste.